that's the right decision. Alright, so we're back here with the mini bike, and well, I've decided I'm going to go with a Honda clone engine, because this is a video from a year ago. These old snowblower Tecumsehs, they don't seem to handle the abuse. They do for a while, but they wear out. So the rod seems to acquire some play on the crankshaft, because I don't know, they just wear out, because they're probably beat when I get them. So anyway, we'll try this out. This was $150 on sale, I think. It is 7 horsepower, 212cc electric start. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see what we can do with this. Probably just to start, it'll be completely stock, just with a governor removal, or just bypass governor. But yeah, then eventually I might get a carburetor and stuff. This carburetor I can put on the go-kart, because I think a 26 mil is probably too big for this. So I guess we'll start by ripping that one out and putting this one in its place. This one should be almost half the weight, I'm thinking, possibly. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I think that was meant to be like that. That's how I found that one there. That was doing a good job holding the engine down, I think. Let's see, how's this one doing? Oh, that one's just about the same. Yeah, that's good. That's what you want. Alright, well, now that's out. Now let's clean that up a bit and then see if this one goes in. Alright, so this engine on this scale, the scale is off by a bit. It reads a little low. So that says just over 45. So say 45 to 50, say 48. So, because I'm a little bit lighter on this scale than other ones. But anyway, so let's say 48 pounds. Alright, and the 212 with the electric start, gas tank, muffler, air cleaner, and key is about 10 pounds lighter with a starter and all this. So not a huge difference, but if I took this off and made a custom exhaust, and maybe, I don't know, this gas tank's probably not that much, but probably block for block, it's maybe 15 pounds difference. So that's interesting. Alright, so I've got the engine where I think I want it. For now it's on temporary wooden engine spacers, because this engine's obviously a lot smaller, so the torque converter would be lower and it'd hit the foot peg. So it's up about 1.5 inches at the back and about 1/2 inch at the front. So it's got a bit of a lean to it. Doesn't really matter. I cannot fit the original gas tank, so I'm going to have to use a different one. So I've got this one here. This air intake just cleared with that, so I might run that for now, and then maybe later get a cone filter or just a slide carburetor, like a Makuni style. So now what I'm going to do before I can run it, I'm not going to remove the governor just yet. I'm going to run it for a bit first, just to let it, break in if it needs to. It's already been run, but just to make sure everything works. And to do that, I'm going to have to cut up the muffler, because it will not go on with the frame being there. So I'll have to cut it, and I'll file out the center, because there's some power being lost there. You can see where the exhaust goes out, and the pipe just kind of restricts it. Same with that gasket, is actually smaller than the actual bore opening, but it claims it makes 7 horsepower this way, so that's not bad, I guess. It seems like there could be a lot of room for improvement, but for now I'm just going to have to cut this and then weld another pipe on it to go out to a traditional thread-on style muffler. Alright, so I just flipped the muffler on. There's a little bit of an exhaust leak, took the heat shield off, but for now it should be fine. So I just turned the gas on. There's not much gas, but there's a little bit. So just filled it up with oil and have the choke on. I'm going to keep this throttle and have the key in the on position and then see what happens. I think that was choke on or choke off? Running, but the key won't shut it off because I think I disconnected the low oil sensor, so maybe that needs to be plugged in for the key to work. I don't know. Or maybe I just wired it wrong because it's not working, so oh well. I'll just let it run for a minute and then shut it off. Alright, so I figured it out. I had the charge coil and the shut-off coil wire incorrect, so yeah, it's just the brown was going to the charge instead of the coil kill. So anyway, that's better now. Alright, so another day here working on this. So I'm rigging up the throttle, so I've got a different throttle cable going to the same grip. I kind of had to jerry-rig this here because, well, just not worry about that. But anyway, so I'm going to be removing or bypassing the governor. Eventually I'll do a Makuni, so not worry about this right now. So I've just got this linkage going in place of this spring so that when this moves, the throttle moves the governor, which is fine. So I've just bent up this linkage rod, so idle and idle, that should be about right there. So I'm going to remove this to get it in there. And then we'll test the throttle, and then probably do the exhaust next. Alright, so I've got this cable thing from the go-kart, from the 8-horse Briggs, and it'll work there just fine. I've got this in there, return spring going to a bolt here. So now, they never gave me, when I got this engine, didn't come with this or the throttle thingy for here, so I'm going to have to make one. And another thing I just noticed, the crankshaft bolt is a different size than the one I already had, so and the one that they gave me is too short to work with the CVT, so I probably won't be able to ride it today because the stores are also closed today. So, alright, so I've got the, this is one of the bolts. It was actually the bolts that held the bracket for the muffler on the support. Then I just drilled a hole in it and then put a nut on. That was a nut from the gas tank, I think, because I clearly cannot fit the gas tank, so I'm going to run this. I'll just have to make my mount further up here. It was back there because the flat head, the cylinder head was right about there, so that's why that's there. I see it is a little bit stupid having a gas shut off here, and meanwhile the carburetor has one right on it, so I might do away with this and then put a fuel filter in place, so that's probably what I'll do. This spring, I think it needs to be tightened a bit more because the throttle, just like sometimes, I don't know, when I turn the throttle, like handlebars this way, it doesn't want to go all the way back because there's more resistance in the cable with it being bent. So probably just need to bend this eyelet on this cable, on this spring, make it bend a little harder, and then we'll try it, and then from there we will build an exhaust. So I'm going to probably cut it here and then use pipage from the old muffler cut and bend and weld and stuff, and then have the thread-in muffler at the back somewhere. Alright, see how this thing starts. I think we're out of gas. Alright, let's build an exhaust. Alright, so that's there. Now, I have this came off of the pocket bike. I know it's a little small, I think like it's probably just a little bit smaller than that, but I might try it just because it's kind of cool. I mean, it does go into two exhausts here, so and it's got like a bend and it comes to the left, and so that might work if I cut it and angle cut this and that. So I'll cut it and see what it looks like. Alright, so that's going to be about it for this video. So I didn't have a bolt. I'll need to get a bolt for the crankshaft. But I think this exhaust should work. It's maybe a little restrictive, a little quiet, but for now it'll get us going. I'll just put a piece of rubber in between here and there because it hits sometimes, and then put a clamp on it. Other than that, I'll need to add a bit of length to the chain, and I might need to modify the belt guard for the CVT cover, and then make the gas tank mount. And other than that, the swap should be pretty much done. I'm gonna probably leave the wooden engine mounts. It should be fine for now. I'll make them out of steel if it becomes a problem. But other than that, the next thing that I could see doing to this would be upgrading the front suspension because it's kind of worn out and destroyed. So I don't know if I want to try to find suspension off of something else, or build a suspension that has like a forward trailing arm, kind of like this, with some of these in the front. It might be heavier, but it would be easy, and because this is just a spring with no dampening, this actually has a gas shock in it. So for now, that should be plenty fine. Also, if you're interested in how to bypass the governor, this is pretty much how. Just find a rod, make it the same length as the spring, and then put it in here with the spring there. I saw a long time ago, but then I rewatched it for this application. Rather Be Welding has a good video on removing or bypassing the governor, which is basically, he did this, but he had his cable coming in from the other way and pulling right on this. But mine didn't have the hookup for it back there for the cable, so it has to come in this way. So that's just another way to do it. But yeah, for now this should be plenty. Then probably a 22 Mikuni on here, do away with this air cleaner, and then maybe at that point build a freer flowing exhaust. But anyway, that's it for this one. In the next one, I will be driving it and testing it. So until then, stay tuned for the next video. So we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.